Do you ever miss the time where movies were a tight hour and 30?
Yeah.
Can we go back to that, please? So, all right. Hi. Second movie of the night, Marry
So
Me.
first we talked about death. Now we're going to talk about marriage.
Indeed. Yep, this is Marry Me, the latest rom-com with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. Um,
I didn't think they would work together on screen, but I thought they had pretty good chemistry, surprisingly.
let's be clear on one thing with this movie. The reason any of this even slightly works is because Owen Wilson has aged like fine wine. Uh,
As in hardly at all.
I mean, like more like as an actor,
Yes.
uh, because like that man still has a shocking amount of charm for someone who's pushing like 50, however old Owen Wilson is now. I'm gonna look it up, but and like Jennifer Lopez too. I'll admit, never been a big fan of her acting career, but they shockingly have good chemistry.
They do.
Um,
And I learned earlier this evening that they have been in a movie together before, back in the 90s. Apparently, they were both in Anaconda together.
oh boy, yeah.
So
Owen Wilson is 53 years old. Uh,
he doesn't look it or act it. So
nope,
all the more power to him
yeah,
in that regard.
no kidding. So I guess 50 is the new 40. Um,
Yes.
well, there you go, Sarah. Glad to make your day. Uh,
Well, you know how old I am.
Sarah, you're not old. Don't even start.
Thank you.
Well, in that case, means 30 is the new 20. Hooray for me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
There
so
you
there you
go.
go. The age is delayed by 10 years. Just calling it now. But like this movie follows, first off, the story is fucking ridiculous. Right off the bat, it is a rom-com to a T. Like tradition, I guess we're being nostalgic for 90s, early 2000 rom-coms now. Which is like was never
Which
my genre growing up. It was obviously because I was big masculine male Transformers.
you were
uh,
also a kid.
I know, but still, my family watched rom coms all the time because I lived in the house with mostly girls. Uh, but which means I also avoided like the plague as much as possible, even though, like in my older age, I've softened to it. Uh, but the point is that like it hits every beat you expect, where they have like the meet cute moment and like some weird shenanigan forced them together. They think they're gonna like each other. And they turn out they do like each other. Everything's happy go lucky. Then there's an all is lost moment where, and then somebody has an epiphany and they run back to this very dramatic moment to get them back, and they end up together, and that's the end of the movie. You've seen it a million times.
Yes,
Uh,
there is a formula to it, but as a fan of this genre of film, I had a good time watching it. It's a very feel good film. It's it's harmless. Yes, there are over the top, ridiculous, uh, forced contrivances.
I mean, let me be
It's
clear before you go on there, because I feel like, again, on the defense of this movie, I still enjoyed this movie.
oh, okay. I wasn't getting that vibe from you.
I was working my way up to that.
Okay.
So,
I feel like it's one of the better rom-coms I've seen recently, especially in a theater. That's becoming a rarity.
yeah, they don't make them crowd like this anymore, which I honestly don't really have a problem with, because most of them are pretty terrible. Um,
I think the last really good rom-com I saw was a Netflix movie from like 4 years ago called Set It Up. Uh,
that sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen it, but I know what it is.
I I like the dialogue in that movie. I like that the characters have a lot of dialogue in this movie as well. You get to know the characters as they're getting to know each other, which is not something we always see in other genres.
Sure. I mean, I feel like that's typically how it's supposed to work, but I get what you're saying. I think again, like the only reason I did enjoy this for what it is, despite how incredibly contrived and by the numbers it is, and like even if you like it, you have to acknowledge that's true. Um,
Yes.
but
And
I know it's just totally fair. It's like, but like the only reason this works, the reason I enjoyed it is because Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez have surprisingly good chemistry.
I know when I saw the trailer, I didn't think that they would, but they he kind of he and his character kind of have this adorkable awkwardness.
Owen Wilson has learned to kind of like Hugh Grant in the opposite way. Hugh Grant went kookier as he got older. Owen Wilson learned how like mellow down his charm. Everyone's like, I'm not necessarily like the handsome romantic lead anymore. I'm more like this. I'm more like the attractive dad, which is like,
is what he plays.
and he's learned to lean into that, and he kind of did that with Loki too in a weird way.
Oh yeah, I
So
love
like
Mobius.
he's been kind of making a weird comeback in that way. Like hasn't had to change much, but it's just enough rebranding that it works for him. And I kind of have to give credit for that. The man is still fucking charming. And shockingly hard not to like.
He is.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like I have to give all the credit in the world just for being able to do that, considering the man was basically a meme like 5 years ago. And now he's come back and he's like everyone's favorite again. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. So that being said, like, so yeah, most of the better parts of the movie are very much the relationship between him and Jennifer Lopez. And like I said, there's some definitely hit and miss moments with Jennifer Lopez, mostly because Jennifer Lopez is another one that's kind of surprised people as an actor, I think, with the Hustler, a couple years ago. I think you and I saw that one, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw it down here with friends, and
Well, we reviewed it, didn't we? I feel like we reviewed it.
it made my best of list for that year.
Yeah. So
and yeah, I felt then, and I still feel now that Hustlers perfectly utilized all of Jennifer Lopez's acting skills and talents. I feel like that part, even though it was based on a true news column, that it was kind of made for her. And yes, she's done rom-coms before.
Sure. Yeah. It's all Owen Wilson, so I'm not gonna judge her for that.
And I'm not. She's going back to what she knows, and that I don't mean that as an insult in any way. She knows how to be a romantic leading lady, and I think she does it well.
Sure.
She made me care about this character, even though one costume she wore cost more money than I make in a year. So,
I'm making 5 for me. But
I'm referring to the wedding dress.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. It's not hard to spot the one. But like I think I think it's one of those things, like the script doesn't always do her a lot of favors, because it definitely feels like, oh, look how these insanely wealthy people are still just like us, in ways that I'm kind of like, okay, you're kind of stretching my willingness to suspend my disbelief here. Like I get it. It's charming. It's cute, but it's also kind of like, it's also like, I know it's I'm being super nitpicky here, but I don't buy this.
Well,
like, I get that everyone does everything for you, but surely you know what a lid looks like. And it's like, oh, it's charming. I don't know anything. It's like that charm runs out quickly. Stuff like that. And it's not a big deal. It's not a game breaker or anything like that. Like I said, it works on the whole, but there's a couple moments like that where it kind of took me out of it for a little bit. It's like, oh, like poor you with your millions.
Something that I feel didn't really work completely for me, that I wasn't completely convinced by, was something that I still enjoyed.
Sure.
Was the fact that that they hooked up to a show tune from from Camelot.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
I rented that movie from Blockbuster when I was going through my musicals phase when I was, growing up, and I haven't thought about that movie or that song in years. It shows up in a JLo rom com, and it's the song they end up having sex to. What the hell?
I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna pause it real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? Oh yeah, hooking up to Camelot.
Yes, it is absurd, but it's oddly charming.
Sure. I mean, I've hooked up to weirder things. Uh, I'm not going to judge on that account. I think it's more I got annoyed by like the titular song "Marry Me" that they play over and over and over and again in this movie because they really want to sell it. Kind of sucks.
Yeah, that got jarring after a while. Honestly, my favorite uh, J-Lo performed song in this movie is the one that she sings acoustically at the school dance that she attends.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that should be the lead single off of this soundtrack, but that's just my opinion.
Now that the soundtrack with the J-Lo soundtrack is definitely probably the most cynical part of this fucking movie, and you can kind of get that that's how the pitch started. And again, this feels like for the most part a cynical corporate product that only works because they cast two charming leads. That being said, sometimes you can enjoy a cynical product. God forbid, I enjoy the Lego movie.
Well, similar to the Lego movie, this is a harmless feel-good film.
Sure, yeah, but it's like it does for me. Like, and I'm not saying it's harmless or it's bad or anything like that. Like, I enjoyed it perfectly fine. I got something out of it. I'm glad I saw it.
Me too. I
But I do
if
have to acknowledge
DVDs still exist, I might buy one.
it's more just like it does feel like it's trying to like bank on the nostalgia trend that's kind of going on right now. Of like, well, the '90s are coming back in kind of a way. We can capitalize on that.
Well, the 2000s are coming back.
Yeah, I feel like this style of rom com definitely feels more '90s to me, but like that's subjective.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of got me thinking about The Wedding Planner. Only,
Oh God.
in that one, Matthew McConaughey was the blonde leading man, and in this one, it's Owen Wilson.
I feel like if it was like if it was a callback to like 2000s, it'd be like Wedding Crashers and just be like a lot of dick jokes and a lot of issues with consent.
I watched Wedding Crashers on Netflix last year. I had never seen it before. Yeah, it's not as good of a movie as people think.
No, that's the power of nostalgia.
Yeah.
In the kind of same vein, this movie definitely follows a lot of like the traditional early, like late '90s, early 2000s rom coms of that era. Which, like, if that's your jam, then cool. Like, you'll have a good time with this.
Yeah.
It was never mine, but for what, but even despite that, I still got like something out of the leads. I thought they were likable enough. I thought the all is lost one was a bit contrived and stupid. I thought a lot of the story elements were pretty stupid, but it works despite itself in a lot of ways. And on the whole, like, I enjoyed it.
I did too.
My overall takeaway from this. We're like, it's not great. God, no. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But did I enjoy it for what it was? Sure.
I might watch it again.
Yeah, like this is not something I would ordinarily seek out on my own. So it's one of those cases like not really convincing me to.
That's kind of why. That's kind of why I wanted to do the review with you, to sort of be the counterbalance perspective, because I am the type of audience that this is aimed at.
For sure. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. And like I said, if other people like it, like I think it's like 58% of Rotten Tomato, and like that's approximately where I'd put it. Whereas like 6 out of 10. Like it, like yeah, there's some stuff to like about it. Not wholly original. That's okay. Take what you want out of it.
Yep.
You know. So that's all I got. Do you have anything else you want to add to that, or?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it. So I might look for the song she sings at the school dance scene on YouTube over the title song of the movie, because I feel like I've heard that enough for a while.
Fair, because I really want you to buy that album. Do we even call them albums anymore? Fuck, I don't know. I'm not gonna go into that rabbit hole right now.
Maybe purists like myself do.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not gonna go there right now. I don't need that in my head. That's all we got for this one. We still got to cover like Moonfall from like couple weeks ago that we still I've seen it. I just haven't reviewed it yet.
That is something that I do not want to see. It looks stupid and stressful.
See, that's a case where like, all right, it's dumb as a bag of hammers, but sometimes hammers are cool. That's kind of my viewpoint on it. So we'll do that later on, and like I know,
enjoy your stuffed hammers, I guess.
My bag of hammers. But I think what even comes out this week. I think it's like the Dog is out this week.
Yeah, Dog is playing now.
Uncharted. That's one I gotta watch.
I had to look up the trailer for Dog to remind myself what it was, and it's like, nah, I'm good.
I heard it's a weird hodgepodge of like intentional and unintentional like hilarity, so I'm kind of curious.
It looks a little similar to a 2017 biopic.
Yeah, I can see that.
I really like called Megan Levy, which I feel did the whole military officer and their dog story much better from the looks of it.
Yeah, sure. We got that Uncharted, which just looks god awful. The Cursed, which I'm just gonna assume Muha is gonna want to see.
Probably.
Because that's up their alley. And yeah, and then whatever else we haven't caught up on yet. So I think that's all we got for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.